Hi, I'm Suzanne McFarland, a career coach here at the Eller College. Today I'm going to be talking about cover letters, also known as your letter of intent. The letter of intent is what you use for professional admissions here to the college, but when you are showing something like that or sending something like that to an employer, it's usually referred to as a cover letter. So I'm going to ask you some questions about your particular cover letter. So if you'd like to get out a copy of your cover letter, we'll do kind of a review of what you have already put together in terms of a cover letter, and then I'll be asking you some questions about that. Does your cover letter convey a professional image? Does it convey the image that you would like whoever's going to read it to think about you? Is it clean? Does it have clean margins? Is it spaced well on the page? Is there an appropriate use of white space on the page as well? Have you checked for grammar, punctuation, spelling? You want to make sure that you have somebody else read any of the documents that you send out before you send them out to an employer or, as I had mentioned, for your purposes here for professional admissions. Have a friend take a look at it, or come here to the Professional Development Center and one of us can take a look at it for you to check for those things as well. The purpose of the cover letter is really to introduce you. It is usually the second thing that's read. If it's also accompanied by a resume, typically people will read the resume first, and if they like what they see there, if it's going to meet their purposes, then they'll go on to read the cover letter. The cover letter is something that conveys what you cannot convey in a resume. So a resume is fact-based, and a cover letter is beyond the facts. It's conveying something about you, your personality, things that you've learned, experiences that you've had, potentially goals that you may have for yourself, things like that. Those are the types of things that you would talk about in a cover letter. You also want to make sure that when you look at your cover letter, does your cover letter tell something about you that's unique, special, and compelling? Do I want to meet you because I read your cover letter and I think, wow, this is an interesting person and I'd like to get to know them and see if they're a fit for this opportunity that I have. Are your paragraphs a good length? Sometimes we see cover letters that have a really long middle paragraph that make it very cumbersome. So you want to make sure that the format is such that it makes it inviting for somebody to read it, that it doesn't seem overwhelming to read your cover letter because the paragraphs are too long. So I'm going to talk about the structure of a cover letter. So the first paragraph is your opening paragraph. In that paragraph you talk about why you're writing, and you preview what you're going to be talking about in the next one or two paragraphs. The middle paragraph is where you make your case. So why should we consider you for professional admissions? Why would an employer consider you for a particular position? And that's where you talk about, as I mentioned, experiences that you've had, things that you've learned, goals that you have for yourself. You want to make sure that you don't repeat what's on the resume. You don't want to just say, well, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. That's not what somebody needs to know about you. They can see that on your resume. They want to learn, because you've had those experiences, how are you changed? How are you a good leader? How are you good at whatever those particular qualities that you would like to highlight about yourself? How are you those things because of what you've done on your resume? And then finally, in the last paragraph, that's where you sum up what you wrote. So it's like when you're writing a paper. You do an introduction, you write the paper and the body of the paper, and then the final paragraph would typically be, or page of your paper, would typically be then the summary of that. So that's summing up, what did I talk about in my cover letter? What are the next steps, including the ask. So if there's an ask for an interview, if there's ask for consideration for a particular opportunity, that's where you want to convey that. And then finally, to thank them for their consideration and for their time. So with that, good luck with your cover letter. And if you need any help, make sure to take advantage of the resources available here at the Eller Professional Development Center. With coaching, we have professional development associates that have walk-on hours 4 days a week, and they can help you. And we also have a lot of resources at the U of A Career Services, so on their website and both in person. So make sure to take advantage of those, and good luck.